welcome back to Kipco Family Homestead. Today I will be sharing ideas for an Easter Sunday lunch and dinner menu. I'm also going to be sharing some breakfast ideas. I know that Easter Sunday, if you're anything like my family, it's a huge deal, and you always want to make something extra special for breakfast and lunch and dinner. And so in this video, I'll be sharing some of our top favorite meals. I'll also be sharing a side idea and some appetizer ideas as well. So stay tuned, and I hope you find this helpful and you get some ideas on what to make your family this weekend. So I'm going to start with breakfast. For breakfast on a special holiday like Easter Sunday, you want to start with something that is a one-pan meal so that you're not making something where you have to do individual things like, say, pancakes or waffles. So for an Easter Sunday breakfast, I think a Dutch baby pancake would be a great idea, or a blueberry Dutch baby pancake, or an egg casserole. These are all great things that you throw together in one pan and stick it in the oven and forget about it, and this feeds the entire family and it saves time. I also just wanted to mention that every recipe that I share here today, you can find the link to my website for all the details and instructions and measurements. It'll take you to my website and you can find all of these recipes on there. I'll have that linked in the description below. Up next, we have appetizers. So one of our top favorite appetizers are these chicken sandwiches, or you can call them chicken sandwich bites. They are basically mini sandwiches on French bread. So you make a large bowl and you basically put all of the ingredients in there, mix it all up, and then you cut up some French bread, apply that mixture on top of each piece of bread, and then it gets baked at 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. And once they come out, they're so good. They're nice and hot. The bottom is toasted, the cheese is melted. And every time I make these, they're gone within probably 10 to 15 minutes of the start of the party. So if you make these, I really think that you will love them, and your guests or your family will definitely love these. One great thing about these is I like that I can just make 2 large cookie sheets of these sandwiches, and you can go ahead and bake them. So you can make a lot at one time. And another thing that I like is when I know I'm going to have to be cooking a lot and I don't have a lot of time, I will actually make the mixture for the toppings of the sandwiches. I'll mix it up and I'll just cover it with the lid and put it away in the fridge, and then just take it out and use it whenever you need it. Another great recipe idea is hard-boiled eggs. And so what I do is I hard-boil them, clean them, cut them in half, then put all the yolks into a bowl, put about a half a cup of mayo, mix it all up really well. Then I stuff the shells back with the mixture, and then you top it with paprika and some parsley, and it looks nice and it tastes great. For dessert, I'm making a sourdough Easter cake, and I'm making it in a bundt cake version. You can also make smaller versions of these if you know anything about the Slavic traditional Russian Easter cake. Usually they're supposed to be kind of smaller and taller, but here I'm just making one large batch and I'm making it as a bundt cake. And this way it actually turns out really moist, and I like that you can just cut them into slices and serve everyone individually that way. And as with most sourdough recipes, this will take about 12 hours, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, depending on how cool or how warm it is in the climate where you live. So just check out the recipe on my website if you're interested in this one, and just plan accordingly so that you are able to make this cake in advance before your party. next, as a side, I'm serving sourdough dinner rolls. You can never go wrong with that. They can also be used as an appetizer, so people can kind of snack on them as they're waiting for food to be ready or just hanging out. And I love that you could eat them savory or sweet. You could eat them as a side with meat and potatoes, or you could serve them almost as a dessert. Just add a little butter, drizzle it with honey, or top with some strawberry jam. I like these sourdough dinner rolls because they have this very delicate and light, like flaky, fluffy texture. And it's also really nice that you can prepare them in advance. So for example, I just mixed together my dough the night before, and then the next morning I just shaped them and put them in the glass pan and then just set them aside until it was time to bake for the party. In my case, I was preparing actually for our son's 3rd birthday party. So his birthday is a couple of days before Easter, and so I got to make all these delicious foods to share with you actually as I was baking for our son's birthday party. For the main course today, I'll be making creamy mashed potatoes served with a meatloaf. So my creamy mashed potatoes are extra creamy because I use gold potatoes instead of russet potatoes. With the gold potatoes, I found that it gives it a more of a creamy texture. But if all you have on hand is russet potatoes, those will work just fine in a mashed potato recipe. After peeling the potatoes, I just give them a quick rinse, and then I dice them up into quarters. If the potato is large, I cut it up into smaller pieces. Then I add in 1 to 2 tablespoons of salt, and once they're cooked, drain the water, and then I add in some heavy cream, some regular milk, and some butter. To serve with the mashed potatoes, I am making a meatloaf, and the glaze that goes on the meatloaf is really good. I feel like that's what makes the meatloaf taste amazing. For ground beef to be flavorful, my rule is 1 teaspoon salt per 1 pound of beef, and I found that this is the perfect amount. It's not undersalted or oversalted. As with many of the other recipes that I shared earlier on in this video, one reason why I like to make this meatloaf is because you just put the entire amount of beef into one pan and just cook it all together, and then you cut it up and serve every piece individually instead of doing something like, say, chicken or something grilled where you have to make everything separately one by one. I really like making this for parties so that I could just have everything in one pan all cooked at once, and I don't have to worry about getting behind on time. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you were able to get some great ideas for your Easter Sunday menu. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for weekly homemaking videos where I share tips and advice on homemaking, inspiration, motivation, and lots of recipes.